Hi everyone, it's Allison here, also known as Lasan Faye, and I am here with yet another Zen Doodle with me video. And you guys are all in for a treat today because this video is going to do 8 tingles rather than the usual 7. And that's because I didn't want April 30th to be all on its lonesome, so I decided to package it in with the rest of the tingles today. So that being said, let's go ahead and get started. The first tingle I have for you all today is called Yang, and it is by Genevieve Crab over at Amaryllis Creations, and I'll include a link in the description below. But the way you get started with this one is you want to draw in a grid. So I'm going to do a 3x3 grid. You can feel free to make this grid as large as you like. And once you have set up your grid, inside of each grid square, you want to draw a circle. So and the way I suggest drawing circles is using your midpoints and just drawing a curved line between all your midpoints in order to create a full circle. Once you have all of those circles in place, in every other one, you want to do this very stretched out S, so almost like you're creating the traditional yin-yang shape. And you want to reverse it in the other direction. For those that are empty. I'll incorporate that somehow. Okay, the suggestion here is to, from the shorter side, draw a stem that comes up and ends in a dot. However, you can do any variation that you wish. And so I'm going to modify that variation and actually go in the opposite direction. So instead of stemming going this way, I am going to stem going this way. And this way. And then on the other half, I'm just going to fill it in solidly. Just like that, we're all done with the yang. And yeah, no, I think this is a really cool tingle, and yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. The next tangle that I have for you all today is called Hako, and it is by Lara Williams. And the way you get started with this one, or at least where I'm going to start with it, the instructions suggest you could start in one of two places, is you draw a square that is diagonally shifted. Like that, and fill it in. And then you want to draw 3 more squares around it that echo that shape. And then finally, for the last step, we're going to draw a regular square that's going to sit back behind it. Like that. And that's all you need for Hako. And you can tile this one with itself or leave it as the single tile. That's totally up to you. But that is it for me on this tangle, and I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next one. The third tangle I have for you all today is called Tusi Musi, and it is by Melosis. And this is going to be a nice little border tangle for you. And so the way you get started is you draw a line going across, and then from that line you want to draw 2 very long triangles that point upward, as well as 2 that point downward. And then within each up and down facing pair of triangles, you want to draw a straight line that preferably goes through the points. Like that. And then on each end, you want to create kind of a bit of an asterisk shape. And then at the center of each pair of triangles where the 2 lines cross, you want to make a little circle. Like so. And then around each of those circles, you want to do half circles that surround them, but don't quite form a circle themselves. Then, once you have those, around each of the little asterisk lines that we've made, we want to be able to connect those in a similar manner, so drawing a little semicircle between all of them. Just like that. And then we want to draw larger petals that surround these partial flowers that we have. So is it for Tusi Musi. This one's a little too busy for me personally. But I like the idea and how much detail goes behind it. I just wouldn't really be able to use it myself in my work. But by all means, I encourage you to experiment and play around with it and have fun. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and move on. The fourth tangle that I'm bringing to you guys today is called Zodhorn. And I believe this one is created by Aurora's Droom Wereld. I'll include a link down below. And the way you want to get started with this one is to create an asterisk. Which I suggest you do that by first drawing a plus sign that divides your area into fourths, and then drawing your diagonal lines after you have your plus sign in place. And once we have the asterisk in place, on each of the little triangle parts on the left-hand side of it, we're going to draw a little oval. Like that. And then in the other half, we're going to draw two circles, one larger, one smaller. Once you have those circles in place, you want to go back to the left half and draw slightly downward curved lines, so echoing the oval at the top, that feed all the way down to the center. That's all it takes for Zodhorn. You can feel free to color shade this in however you wish. I'm going to leave mine as is and move on to the next tangle. Alright, the next tangle I have for you all today is Gotta Go by Leanne Woods. And this is another one where you want to start off with a grid. So I'm going to go ahead and draw that grid into place. And then on every other grid square, what I want to do is in the lower right, create a rectangle that is taller than it is wide, and similarly mirror that in the upper left corner. And then in the spaces we didn't fill in the lower left corner, we want to do another rectangle that's wider than it is tall. And similarly create that in the upper right corner. And with all of those rectangles that we just created, we want to go ahead and fill those in. And then for every box that we have, on within each of our original grid squares, the corners that are closest to each other of the two rectangles that are there, we want to draw a line that connects them. And that is all it takes for gotta go. You can choose to fill this in however you wish, but I'm going to leave mine here and move on. The next pattern that I have for you all today is called Junction. It's also by Molossus. And the way you get started with this one is you draw two pairs of potentially curved lines. It's okay to have them be straight lines. And then on the interior of these two pairs of lines, you want to draw an even number of lines that connect the two of them. Like so. And then on the outside of those lines, we're going to extend the lines that we previously drew in and connect them with slightly jagged lines. And from here, on the gaps that are between these pairs of lines on the interior, on the right hand side, we want to draw a curve that mostly leaves the lower left corner open. And we want to do something similar on the left-hand side exterior. And with those curved lines that we just drew, we're going to color in the smaller of the two areas that we separated. And then in the space left over, just going to draw this going up and disappearing. We're going to fill that in with little circles. That way it looks like rocks. And then in the remaining planks that we have left, I'm just going to draw some straight lines, as the tangle suggests, to give the illusion of wood grain. I think this tangle is really cute, and I appreciate the fact that it looks like train tracks. I'm not sure where I would use it, but I want to use it again outside of this challenge. But I'm going to leave my commentary there and move on to the next tangle. This next tangle that I have for you all today is called Great, spelt with a number 8. And that does make sense in terms of the pattern. The way you want to get started with this one is you want to come through and draw pairs of diagonal lines . now that we have those diagonal lines in place, what we want to do is for any two lines that are next to each other but not the closest line to them, we want to draw a line, actually a pair of lines that connects the two of them and helps form a square. Like that, it kind of creates the great shape. And then in any place where we have four corners of these squares coming together, we want to do a number 8. And just like that, we've finished great. Yeah, no, this is fun, nice, and you can, again, choose to color it in however you wish. I'm going to leave mine as is and move on to the final tangle for this video. Alright, the final tangle that I have for you all this video is called Tea Leaf, and it's by Hisin Yasu. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And the way you want to get started with this one is to create a leaf shape, or almost like a petal shape, like how you would like draw petals coming off of a flower. But pretty much what I mean by that is the top end is a little bit sharper and the bottom end is a little more curved. And once we have that in place, we want to draw a line that comes through the middle of it. It does not need to be a straight line. In fact, I think it looks better if there's not a straight line. Then, starting at the top, what you want to do is create a little half heart that comes up and comes down. And continue this all the way to the very end, alternating which side you draw the half heart on. And then from where the joints are, you want to draw little lines that come out and end in a tiny little circle. And that is all it takes to draw a tea leaf. And you can choose to pair this with more leaves, but to conserve time, I'm not going to draw any more than the one. But I think this is really, really pretty, and I'd love to play around with it more. But that is it for this tangle. Alright, that is all that I have for you guys in the month of April. I can't believe how fast this month has just flown by. I really enjoyed doing the tangles this month, and I hope you all did too. Anyways, I will be back in May for the May Zen Art Challenge, and I look forward to seeing you all then. In the meantime, have a wonderful, wonderful week and take care. Bye!